Hey, good morning, everybody. It is Friday. This is Tricia Turner with another episode of Anything But Average, Achieving Success in Life. I got another high energy person here with me this morning. I've got my good friend Mike Wall. Hi, Mike.
Hi, happy Friday, everybody. Woo, I'm ready to roll, baby. Let's go.
Let's do this. All right, so we can tell everybody where you are. So to give everybody a little bit of backstory about you, where you got to, or how you got to be where you are, and where you are in the United States, please.
Yeah. So I'm in Southwest Ohio. I cover three markets. We cover Columbus, Dayton, and Cincinnati. I've been selling real estate. Well, I've actually been full-time in real estate since 2014. Just cranking it out, man. I started off just like everybody else on my own. And I was actually, before this, I worked in corporate America doing copier sales, believe it or not, was miserable.
I wouldn't believe that.
And in 2013, I actually started calling. It was an outside sales job. I started calling the expireds in late October, early November of that year. And just did really well. Started off the first year, sold 57 listings. Second year, sold 104. Third year, sold 187. Fourth year, sold 309. And we've just been kind of growing and maintaining ever since. And now I'm kind of in a different role now where much like you, I'm just trying to add value more to my agents. I do still work with consumers, some, mostly sellers. Don't really show many buyers anymore, but I will to my personal network. But other than that, like I said, I'm trying to add value out into the real estate community just to help people who are interested in grow a business, a sustainable, profitable business for those folks.
And you're also with EXP, correct?
Definitely with EXP. Been with EXP now. We were 2 years in February. I'm a recovering KW agent and did that for 3 years. Don't have a bad thing to say. Yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about Keller Williams. I actually love my time there. I love the people there. I think it's a great company. We just felt like we found a better model.
You know what I think is one of the coolest things? Okay, so from coming from owning my own brokerage, and I too had been at KW, I've been at Remax, I've been at all the big box companies, Coldwell Banker even, and I started at Gary Green in '92. And so it's like the biggest takeaway that I could never ever tell and everyone how much it means value or how much added value, blah, 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 is the fact that we can collaborate like we do together. Because had I not switched over to EXP, had you not switched over to EXP, I would not know you. I would not know half of the people that we talk to on a daily basis. Insane. Yeah. I'm closer to y'all than I am some of the agents that I've worked side by side with for years. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, even agents, even in your own marketplace, right?
Totally. And you know what it is? It's because we're all like-minded, and it's hard to find like-minded people. And so when you do, you're just attracted to them. You're like, I just want to hang out with them. I want to talk to them. It's like, and the energy just flows,
Yeah. That's what makes our event so interesting too, Tricia. When we go to the shareholders meeting and EXP Con and stuff, we just kind of naturally gravitate to each other, and we just kind of swarm in big groups, and I love it.
It's the coolest group I've ever been a part of in my entire life.
No doubt.
Like, when you were growing up or when you were in like high school and you wanted to be in the cool kids group, everybody wants to be the cool kids. You don't want to be that loner kid that's off by yourself,
Yeah.
It's like, that's how I think of us. It's like, I love our group because it's so high energy and there's always somebody seeking to do something better. Or just like you and I were sharing right before we went live, something that we learned from Tammy Pack yesterday,
Yeah.
Again, would not know Tammy if we weren't all together in business together. Yep. Amazing opportunity that we have with each other.
I think the theme of that group is definitely work hard, play hard. Would you agree?
I would second that for sure. Okay, now your role there in Ohio, you have a team there, don't you?
Yeah, we have a team. We have 16 agents covering 3 different marketplaces. We're actually relatively newer in the Columbus marketplace now. But we have a team, 16 agents. We have a listing manager, a contract manager, an ISA. We did have an ISA. We actually hired her to go full-time into an agent role just here recently. And let's see, what else do we have? I have an investment company as well where we do have an ISA with that investment company. But that's mostly doing flips, buy and holds and wholesales and stuff.
And are you looking to grow your team there in Ohio and expand?
We are definitely growing. We are trying to attract like-minded agents, right? Who are again looking to build a sustainable and profitable business. We're just, we try to. I know EXP agents can get a bad rap for recruiting. We're definitely not recruiters. I mean, that word is kind of cliche. It means a lot of different things. We are more attraction, and we are attraction through education.
Yeah. And I even was having this conversation in my office yesterday with one of the agents here with me. And it just in the last probably 2 months, we did have some agents that weren't people that I would have went out and sought after, but they came into our organization because I felt sorry for them because somebody had recruited them and they were lost. And so I invited them in because I wanted to help them. And it turned out not good for me. They weren't a good core fit, and I would have never invited them in. And so I told the agent yesterday, I was like, I will never do that again. We're always trying to help people, but at the end of the day, if they're not a good core fit, we shouldn't be in business together, And so it's like we have to protect this environment that we are creating and that we've created, because that's what brings the most value to our industry that we're trying to make a better thing,
Right. I agree. We just have to be the people who are doing it the right way. We just have to be a louder voice than those people who are quote unquote doing it the wrong way, right?
Oh, yeah.
And those people are at every company. It's not just EXP. I mean, they're at Keller Williams, at Coldwell Banker, Remax. They're everywhere. It's just we have to be the louder voice, and I think we do a really good job of that.
Oh, I do too. Okay, so we're going to timestamp this for everybody paying attention. It's April 24th here in Houston, Texas, which is where I am. There's a lot of energy going around. The coronavirus is like going away kind of thing. We're getting hot here. And so now the news is coming out that the heat kills it and all kinds of stuff. What are you guys seeing there in Ohio currently?
So we are still on lockdown as well, at least until May 1st. They're going to start kind of opening businesses back up. And while when you put a house on the market, it's still gone within an hour. If it's priced correctly, if it's in good condition, it's in a good location, it's going to sell within a few hours or within a couple days for sure. Yeah. And that's nothing's changed in that regard. And while we are down, I think year over year, it's just been a matter of not having enough inventory to market out into the consumer base and for them to absorb it. So I don't want to make excuses for us. We will definitely power through this. But it is what it is. And it's like you said, I love, that analogy. And I actually used this in a podcast yesterday, what you were talking about with Joel Osteen and the boat being out into the ocean, right? It's about having an impenetrable mindset right now. And it's really just staying on task, staying on routine. And I don't say that to be insensitive or I'm not in La La Land. I'm what's going on. You have two choices. You can either accept it and move on, or you can repel it. You can resent it, right? And inner resentment creates outer resentment, and then it actually creates negative energy, and you push people away from you. So I choose to accept it, and we're just making the modifications. We're being cautious on how we approach buyers and sellers right now, but we're still selling real estate because that's what we do.
So prior to the coronavirus, clearly you guys were in a seller's market. Do you traditionally stay in a seller's market?
Man, Ohio's weird. You know what I mean? Sure. When I started out, when I got my real estate license in 2001, I started out just working as a buyer agent. You know what I mean? I didn't do everything. I couldn't list, couldn't sell. But the reason why I went to the gentleman I went to is because he was a top agent and I wanted to be able to learn. And I remember going through that 2008, 2009. And in fact, I had to hang my license up and put it in corporate, or I had to hang my license up and then go get a job in corporate America selling copiers, like I told you before. And it was miserable, but it provided a good income. And listen, Tricia, I loved real estate. I knew I would always come back. It was just a matter of when and how. You know what I mean?
So there in your market now, what are you seeing as we come out of this? Do you guys have a bunch of listings that are kind of on hold and that are ready to go on the market once we ramp back up?
Yeah, we do. We have and that is such a great question because I think that, it's a great segue into talking about why it's important to lead generate right now. And the reason why you want to do that is not see, everybody has this, everybody's under the notion that I'm calling to get appointments right now. And while that is great, it's not reality, right? What we're doing when we make phone calls is we're creating nurture opportunities and we're building a pipeline. And for those who go into lead generation with that mindset, they usually have the most success. And you'll get an appointment occasionally, and that's great. But most of your appointments come from your warm nurtures. And that's a separate category, right? When you start each day, you should start every day calling your warmest leads. And that would be expireds and for sale by owners. And then any new buyer leads that were created through your lead gen online. And then you should go into your warm nurtures. Those are people who you've already had a conversation with, that you've identified a buying or selling cycle, right? And that you can if you've taken good notes, which hopefully you have, you can go into your system and create rapport right away, based on what you identified in the initial conversation. And then lastly, that third category should be calling old leads or neighborhood prospecting to create those warm nurtures, right? And it's just a cycle that you keep going through. And a lot of people, you're right, they're saying, hey, I'm not doing anything right now. But you and I both know, Tricia, this is all going to end fairly soon, and people are going to get out and they're going to start doing business again. And the people who lead generated through this whole thing, they're going to be the winners. And we know that, right?
Oh yeah. It's like when this thing first started, everybody was in panic mode and kind of paralyzed. And I get that. This is weird. This is new. No one's ever went through this before. What the heck is this? Okay. So then after that kind of settles in, then it's like when you're doing your lead gen, which you're supposed to be doing every day. Okay. So we need to change the message. We're still not like calling in, putting the hammer on the head, trying to get you to sell your house. Now we're checking in. Are you guys okay? Are you feeling okay? Do you need anything? That kind of thing. Okay, well, now we're at the end of week 5 here in Houston, where people here, or in Texas, we're rebellious. And so it's like, I'm born and raised here. So it's like, we're rebellious. We do not like being told what to do. We do not like being kept indoors, especially when it's sunny out. We want to get out. We want to go do things. And so you can sense that, you can feel that. It's like, it's just billowing here. It's just ready to explode. And so the message has changed, because if you're doing lead gen every day, which you and I know we encourage everybody to do, and you should have a pipeline, people that maybe weren't going to list in April, maybe you were going to list in May, June. So the people that originally were going to list in April, clearly we missed that mark because a lot of people here held off. So like I'm telling all of my agents, and the same thing that I'm doing with my sellers, is if they were planning on listing in April, I don't care, what the message is, other than right now we need to call and get you back on the calendar. Because if you're doing things right, everything's methodical. So you can't be expected to, have a phone call with the seller and their house goes active the very next day. It's a system that we put into place, that you put into place. Right. So it may be 2 weeks before that house gets on the market. In the meantime, you've lost all that time if you have not been keeping up with what's going on and keeping up with your clients and getting them on the calendar, kind of moving everything along, shifting it along, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I would wholeheartedly agree with that. And what I've seen just on our own team is there's really 3 kinds of agents, right? And there's the agent who it's been business as usual, right? The agent, and there's a handful of them who still come in here every day. They still lead generate. I see them every day. And then there's a second kind of agent who's kind of created, they're more cautious, right? They work from home. They still do the dials, and they're still working. They're just not out in public. And I get that. And I support that. And then there's the third kind of agent, is there's the agent who's just paralyzed, right? There's the agent who just hasn't done anything. They literally, when they turn in their numbers every week, they're turning in very low call volumes, no appointments. And it's those agents that I think are the most disappointing, I think, because there's such an opportunity in a market like this to take market share. Because what we know, because we've been through this before, is that most people will shut down right now, right? And most people will shut down because they have an excuse to do so, right? And no one can argue with their excuse, because if you argue, especially in the world we live in today, right, then you're labeled as an insensitive. That's not who you want to be. And you can think that. And I mean, between me and you and whoever's listening, I mean, I get it. And I mean, part of me supports that. But at the end of the day, everyone's different, and we just have to celebrate everybody for who they are. And we have to give thanks for those people as well, because we wouldn't be who we are. We wouldn't be able to take market share if everybody was like us, right? If everybody just did what we did, there might not be enough to go around. You know what I mean?
No.
But the reality of it is we know we get out every day and we hustle, and we're able to create business because of that.
I was on a call yesterday with a broker, another broker, and he said something really profound, and I agree 100%. He's in a different market as well, and he is talking to his sellers and his team, and he's like, look, you guys need to get a hold of your sellers, and everybody that was thinking about selling, they need to get on the market like now, like today. We need to get on the calendar and do this now, because what's going to happen is the people that weren't working, unlike you and I that had kind of took the month of April off, those agents, they're going to start lead genning again once everything opens back up. And there's going to be a huge inventory of listings coming on the market in later part of June, and especially July for all those that are running behind, those like us who are always ahead. We need for our sellers to get them the best money to get their house on the market now while there's no competition, not with everybody else that's coming to the game late. And that was so true when he said that. I was like, 100%.
Yeah. Not only that, but let's just say this is the beginning of a recession, right? And this is the top of the real estate market. Wouldn't you want to sell your house right now and get the most amount of money? And that's the conversation we're having with sellers, is because a lot of this fear mongering, that the news panders, it's like when you make calls, it's like people they're really scared. You can hear it in their voice. You can tell by what they say. And if that's the route they want to take, then we have a script for that as well. And it's not misleading people. In their minds, perception is reality, right? If that's true, then you want to create that urgency, that motivation, that if there's a real reason for them to sell, and not just, hey, we're testing the market, but
right,
my wife's retiring, we're moving to Tennessee or whatever, a real reason to sell, then you want to what you're doing that is a fiduciary responsibility in its highest regard if you're helping them get the most amount of money for their house. Wouldn't you agree with that?
I would 100%. When I went to real estate school a million years ago, I remember that they were like, that is your job to get the seller the most amount of money in the least amount of time while maintaining the ultimate level of, fiduciary duties to them 100%. And so we never should lose sight of that. And even though we're in this weird, crazy time in our world right now, if people want to sell their home, which of course they do, it is still our job to do that for them and get them the most amount of money for them, Yep. Even in a weird market. And like you said, if we do end up in a recession, now is the best time in the world, not 3 months from now or 4 months from now, So in your market there, how did you kind of have to shift things with your team to keep them motivated during these times where they're, at home, not doing anything? What were you having them do?
Yep. So we're doing more stuff virtually right now. We did have we do a big team meeting on the first Monday of every month. So we did that virtually, and it actually worked really well. And then I've just been trying to encourage agents to schedule time with me for one-on-ones, either in the office or virtually, whichever they're comfortable with, excuse me. And then I'm just managing by the numbers. You know what I mean? I mean, if I can see that somebody's numbers are down, I'm never one to beat people up. I try to build them up, and then I encourage them with the right information. And because essentially what we do here for agents is when they come aboard, we try to draw a roadmap for them to create the level of income that they want, right? And so we have a standard, but once you come onto our team, our standard, and what I mean by is if your standard is not good enough, then you're not coming on the team. But if we're allowing you on the team, then we're saying essentially that your standard is good enough to join us, and your income might be, you might want to make $85,000. You may want to make $175,000. And guess what? We can build a roadmap for both of those incomes based on, the number of calls they make, the number of appointments they go on, so forth and so on. And so that's what we're trying to manage to on a daily basis. And when folks get off track, then it's more of a conversation of, well, how do we get back on track? And the funny thing is like, I know some people, and I haven't heard it yet, and maybe it's because I don't want to hear it, but I know it's coming. We're not there because of the pandemic, right? You know you're going to hear that from folks on your team. It's like, we had a goal of X, but the pandemic. It's like, that's why we didn't get there, and then all of a sudden it's just justified, right? You don't even have to try to get back on track anymore. Because of the pandemic, right? That's your excuse. That's your justification for you not hitting your goal. And the reality of it is, the only person you're cheating is yourself with that story. It's a lie. You know what I mean? The reality of it is, there's never been a better time right now to go out and take market share, and not only meet your goal, but absolutely crush your goal.
Yep. It's so funny that you said that, because before you even led into that, I was going to ask you that. Are your agents coming to you going, hey, maybe we should redefine our goals, since we kind of had that month of uncertainty there? It's so funny that you led into that. You did it all on your own. I was going to ask you that. Yeah.
Yeah. But no. And fortunately, we've not had those conversations yet. Those conversations, while challenging, they are probably the most productive conversations you have, especially if you can get in front of somebody, and I don't want to say convince, but you can make them see that this reality is only temporary, and that there is a great opportunity, an opportunity like you would not have had otherwise if this hadn't happened. And if they can see that, they're going to go out and they're going to get right back on track. I guarantee it. And what's really cool about this event, if there is anything cool about it at all from a business perspective, is it can inject momentum. It can inject energy right back into your business. Because what I think, Tricia, and we talked about this before, is I think there's going to be an absolute boom when this is all over. I think come May 1st, when you start to see the tail end of this, right, we start to get back to some normalcy. Yeah. Listen, those people that have been on the fence, man, they're going to start coming out in droves, right? And you better be ready. And those folks who, like we said before, who've been lead generating, who've been building that pipeline, look out, man. They're going to go do some amazing things in May, June, July, and August. I promise you that.
I think so too. I was telling somebody the other day, now that we're under that 10-day mark, where actually here, some businesses are opening up. The governor announced it last night. He's doing another announcement here on Monday where more are going to start opening up. So we're opening up before the 30th and a lot of things. And so it's almost like a kid at Christmas, where you're like counting down to the days till you get to open your presents, It's like, oh my gosh, this is going to be, I just see it. I feel the energy. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
That's how we are.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Yeah. And it's kudos to people like you who've really kind of taken the opportunity to put good content out and encouraging content to try to help people find a way through this. You know what I mean? I know, like, originally when something like this hits, it's like, in my lifetime, and I know in your lifetime, nothing like this has ever happened. So how do we navigate through this? And there's the initial shock of when an event like this takes place, but then, the dust kind of settles and everything. It'd be stupid to say that everything is the same, but from a business perspective, you just make the best of it. And we're fortunate enough to be in an industry right now who's been deemed as essential. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people, listen, folks, who just, they can't go out and work, right? They've literally been charged with staying at home. Right? They have to stay at home. They're in the restaurant industry. They're in different industries that they say you can't work right now. And we are, like I said, we're fortunate enough to be in an industry where we can still go out and work. So for those folks who are just taking the day off every day in real estate, man, shame on you, because like most people would kill to be in your position. You can work and you're just simply choosing not to.
Amen. Oh my gosh. I love that you just said that, because it is so true. People bitch and complain all the time. And it's like, you have a golden opportunity right now. It's a choice that you're making not to take it.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Love that you said that. So for everybody listening, give them some success tips and words of encouragement to get things, if they don't have things moving, to get things moving over the next 30, 60, 90 days.
Yep. So right now, mindset is everything. Listen, mindset is everything. And you just have to start with acceptance if you haven't already accepted this, because you're not going to change it, right? This is reality. And so you need to wake up You need to protect your mindset. You need to go out and you need to be as close to as business normal as you were before this took place. Especially if you were being disciplined about your lead gen, if you were being disciplined about your numbers, if you were being disciplined about your personal development. Listen, nothing changes. It's the same old thing. And, you know, while we are taking precautions when we're out on appointments, right? We're washing our hands, we're wearing masks, we're wearing gloves. We're taking every precaution. It's business as normal right now, man. And if your business has changed and you're using this as an excuse, it's not too late to change, folks. Make the change today. Just decide where you're at. That, hey, I'm getting right back on track, because you're only going to be putting yourself ahead of those people who are still staying at home and will stay at home for the next couple of weeks, right? While we, end this stay-at-home order. So remember, lead generation, your schedule is absolutely imperative. You have to be disciplined enough to do your lead gen every day. You have to stick to your personal development, and you have to take care of yourself, right? And like you said, I love that you're the morning ritual girl, because like, I'm such a morning ritual guy. I mean, I get up at 5 every single morning, right? The first thing I do is I come downstairs, I read scripture, I listen to a good book, I drink my coffee, I'll write out my goals, I'll write in my journal. I do the same thing every single day. Right? And then I'm off to work out. Now I'm having these weird workouts at home. I got two 30-pound dumbbells and two 20-pound dumbbells and a treadmill. That's all I got, man. So I'm doing push-ups, I'm doing sit-ups. And, while I fought it at first and it wasn't my routine, right? Now it's my routine, and I've just accepted it. It's just like this pandemic. So the secret sauce here is really nothing's changed. And the dangerous part of that is you could use this as an excuse, and probably not many people are going to say anything to you about it. You know what I mean? But the reality of it is, you're the only one that's going to hurt yourself with that excuse. You're the only one that's going to hurt. And so keep doing what you're doing. There's an opportunity here like never before. And I hope that you all go out and absolutely crush the rest of this year.
I do too. I love that. Hey, Mike, tell everybody how they can find you if they want to get some more information or just have a conversation with you.
Yeah. So you can always find me on Facebook. Just friend me. I think I've got a couple slots left there, and you can follow me there as well. You can always email me. I'm at mike@loveohioliving.com, and I'm on most social media streams. And I'm pretty responsive, so you can DM me through any of those, Instagram, anything like that. But anything I can do to help right now, I'm happy to do that. And Tricia, again, I so appreciate the opportunity to be on the show. And I love you. I'm one of your biggest fans. Always can't wait to reconnect with you. Hopefully, speak on.
I know, for sure, 100%. Thank you for being here with me today. Always a pleasure seeing you.
Yep.
Bye, y'all.